Hey Adam, how's it going? Thanks for the video response. It was much appreciated. First off the bat, let me just say that congratulations to Manchester United. They've all but sealed up the championship for the Premier League. I watched their match against Arsenal this past Sunday, and they really kicked some butt, so to speak. In all fairness, Arsenal is just not the same team they used to be, but it was a good match nonetheless. And of course, now they just have to play Chelsea and wrap things up, which I don't think will be too terribly difficult. Okay, moving on. First of all, you responded to my video about the um, Africa thing, and I'll actually touch on that second. But the first thing I just wanted to clarify was about the Olympic boycott. The only boycott that I'm calling for is the opening ceremonies, and that would be just the first night when everybody goes in the stadium and parades around. And I'm only calling for a boycott of specific world leaders. I believe Prime Minister Gordon Brown has already indicated that he would boycott the opening ceremonies, and I think that's a good way of protesting the Chinese actions in Tibet, as well as the inaction by China in Darfur in Africa. The reason why you can do this, it's a political statement and it's effective, especially for the Chinese, is because the Chinese are very susceptible to losing face. They don't want to be embarrassed, to be humiliated on the international scene. They want to be, have everything run smoothly, everything, a-okay. And of course, by boycotting the opening ceremonies only, they have a likelihood of being embarrassed and humiliated from that. Now, again, I don't want to boycott the entire Olympics, as that would be punishing the athletes, and that's not fair. I mean, athletes have trained and worked hard to get to this point, and they should be able to compete in the Olympics. But again, it's just the opening ceremonies. In regards to Africa, I believe your video you called for some U.S. intervention. Um, I was actually hoping for British intervention within Zimbabwe as a former colony of Great Britain, uh, then known as Rhodesia. I don't think it's Great Britain's responsibility, or certainly don't think they're obligated to, but I think that they should be, the more likely candidate to intervene in Zimbabwe. The problem, of course, with any of this intervention is that it creates problems, future problems, where some countries and some regions become dependent upon other countries to jump into the fray when things get tough. And I don't like that, setting that precedent. Excuse me. The thing is, right now, technically the only superpower in the world is the United States. And for good or bad, the United States is considered the world police force, meaning if something gets out of hand somewhere in the world, people expect the United States to intervene. And unfortunately, in my book, the United States has done that. The problem, of course, that has come about of that is these other governments and other countries have dramatically reduced their military spending, defense spending, because they know the United States has vital interests in that region and will intercede to prevent its interests from being jeopardized. So I just don't know. I like that we need to do something. We need to do something in Zimbabwe. We need to do something in Africa, but I don't believe we need to do military intervention. I think that's the very last straw. And though I will say we're rapidly nearing that point of the last straw, because unless countries like South Africa and President Thabo Mbeki actually decide to become a leader and actually decide to take the interests of his country, never mind Zimbabwe, never mind Zambia or Botswana or Tanzania, what about South Africa? What about the interests of the South Africans? How is he going to protect his country's interests? By colluding with President Mugabe of Zimbabwe? No. Your country's hurting because of this. So he needs to do something about it. Zambia has already, expressed willingness to try to do something. They hosted that conference this past weekend about it. I'm not sure if anything came about it, but the point is, Zambia is really financially strapped. They're one of the poorer countries in the South African region, and they deserve assistance. Especially for trying to be proactive and trying to help resolve the situation. So, as much as I think military intervention could be a cure-all, it could also make things a lot worse, as we've seen in Iraq. A few other things. We have the Euro 2008 competition coming up. Of course, that's for football, and the national teams in Europe are going to be playing. I saw the pairings, and I'm already working to compile a video, but I just wanted to give a heads up that, again, I'm going to be supporting Croatia in the Euro 2008, and I'm busily trying to gather materials for a video in regards to that. But just so you know, I haven't forgotten. And that's coming up in about 6 weeks' time that starts, so I haven't forgotten. And of course we have the FA Cup, which is Great Britain's FA Cup. That's coming up in, again, about the same amount of time, 6 weeks. And we have Cardiff versus Portsmouth. I'll be rooting for Cardiff all the way. Nothing against Portsmouth. Harry Redknapp is Harry Redknapp. But I like the underdog, and I'm going for Cardiff. So that's just the way it works out. I think that's about it. Okay. Again, thanks for the video response, and I just wanted to clarify those 2 points about the Olympics and Africa. Thanks, Adam.